Do it with. All right, guys, get your coffee, get your tea, get your lunch. Welcome to
It's
another
your life.
mother patio. Hey,
Another mother patio.
hey.
Hey.
Guys, we want to start off this show and give respect to the hip hop mogul, Irv Gotti. We want to give him a moment of silence for all the wonderful things that he's done in the hip hop genre. And we'll get into that later, but let's take 15 seconds of silence for him. Rest in peace, brother.
Word.
All
Rest in
right.
peace, brother.
I got my tea. I got my tea. Get
Let's
your
do it.
coffee. Get your life.
You
Let's
ready?
get ready to
We
rumble.
ready? Hey, y'all already know what time this is. Y'all ready? Y'all already know what time this is. Y'all ready? Y'all already know what
Ready.
time this is. Y'all already know what time it is.
Hey, we know what time it is.
Come
Come
on.
on. Bring the sin.
Create dopamine.
Create sin.
Create
Create
dopamine.
sin.
Create dopamine.
Create
I said
sin.
create dopamine. Come
Be
on.
another mother. Patio. Hey.
Another mother patio.
Be
Hey.
another mother. Patio. Hey.
It's another mother patio. Here we
Here we
go.
go. Hey, hey,
Here we
hey, hey, hey,
go.
hey. I'm
Here
so
we
thankful.
go.
Hey, we
Here
so
we go.
thankful.
Here
Hey.
we go.
So, guys, we got to talk a little bit about Irv Gotti
Word.
before we even get into our agenda. Because I don't think everybody, I went on this morning. Y'all, listen, I had one earring in. I mean, ponytail was turned to the left. I was waking up out of my sleep. I said, I'm about to get on it and put my video out. You know what I mean? As a small content creator, you got to put yours out early before the mass of people
That's
come in
facts.
it with it.
That's
But
that's that's a good nugget right there. That's
yeah,
facts.
yeah, you got to
That's
put it out
facts.
early for content creators, guys.
That's
Get your
facts.
news out
That's a
there
good nugget.
ASAP. You
That's
may
a good
not
nugget.
look perfect, but I think people want to hear what you got to say. And so far, almost 200 views on that video of people wanting to hear what I had to say, because I know a lot of things that he did in the game. But I'm gonna pass it on to my amazing other co-host right here, who is one of the baddest rappers I have met on the West Side, and he knows more than anybody could ever imagine when it comes to, Irv Gotti. I knew the Irv Gotti because I liked Ashanti and Ja Rule, and I liked his, reality show. But I'm gonna let Anthony take over because I know he gonna get into the stuff. Anthony, let's talk about Irv Gotti because I don't think everybody know all the stuff he's done. He's done a lot. Y'all already know he's gonna take an hour.
Well, you know why? Because today has been very busy. And when I finally got by the time I got the news, it hit me, but then it was like today was very busy because we grind time. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
grind time. So, we grind time. So when this subject came up now, I just allowed myself to take a moment to really just take it in because, this is a big loss, bro. Like, and mind you, I say this lovingly. I'm just being brotherly. I hope y'all feel me on what I just said. I say this lovingly. I'm just being brotherly. But, as somebody who wasn't, we all got favorites, right? We all got favorites like in music and artists we like and stuff like that. They had a phenomenal run, X, Y, and Z. But, like there's also a lot of other artists that I listen to more than them, but they're all of them. I'm talking about Ja Rule, Ashanti. But when Murder Inc. was rolling, Murder Inc. was rolling. Like
DMX, didn't he sign DMX too?
DMX work, he signed DMX early. See, Irv was in the. That's what I'm saying. Irv was in the early game. Like he knows Jay Z early. Like he knows early Jay
Jay-Z,
Z.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they had their tiffs and they had their things and fallouts and all that kind of stuff. And by the time the media got it, it was just Jay versus Irv or wherever,
Right.
however the media wants to spin it. but they are real deal know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Irv was real deal around. Now, I didn't grow up in New York, X, Y, and Z. I didn't grow up
This
around
guy.
people that were around. Yeah, no. Yeah, hey, you know me. I shit. And listen, without going too deep, because I'll do this on my own. I hope I remember this, because I'll do on a little thing on my own, because I could talk 30 minutes on this. But on some loving, and anybody from my neighborhood listening to me, I brought the East Coast to Sac. I brought the East Coast to Highlands. I used to bump all that East Coast shit. I'm a West Side nigga. I mean, brother. I'm sorry. I'm a West Side brother. All the things. It's all love, but
Yeah, he
you
tried
know,
to be careful.
hey, listen, we had to
We
talk
got
before. I'm trying, but I got to be myself too.
so
So
we
I'm
got
just
to
trying
tell
to find the.
content creators.
I'm trying to be myself. I'm just trying to be myself. It's gonna be better for the world. I promise. If I could just be myself. So I got to find the medium. Excuse a couple of things that come out my mouth, but Irv was one of the real ones, like in that sense. Like he was around. Like he was around early. And then by the time they bubbled, regardless of what you thought about Murder Inc., and then obviously 50 came in and just changed the whole trajectory of their trajectory. You know what I'm saying? If you
Mhm.
follow what I just said. So then that always gets looked about like that. But Irv stayed in the mix, and Irv was flawed. Irv made mistakes, but Irv is very, very. He is one of the people that is very responsible for bringing um commercial to rap. I'm not saying he was the first to do it, he wasn't the last to do it, but in that space that he occupied,
Like the
when he brought
R&B.
commercial music to the masses, he brought that shit stuff. He brought that stuff. He brought it. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, listen, hey man,
Can I
hey.
tell them why you're doing that?
Tell him,
It can
please.
help a
Let's keep it all
content.
the way buck, because then
So,
listen, this is what we can't
so
do it any other
listen.
way.
So he said I dropped a nugget earlier. I'm going to drop another nugget. So if you are a small content creator and you are trying to get monetized, you can say bad words all you want, but it is going to hurt your revenue for them putting ads. You're also going to lessen your reach, right? Because if you have a lot of things that a lot of people cannot listen to, it cannot be exposed to a bigger reach. And I'm trying to say it without saying a bunch of words. So that's why we're trying to be very careful, because you don't want to take money out of your pocket. All right, guys, another nugget. Take it back, Ace.
Yeah. So with that said,
If you
everybody looking, and all the evaluators, if you happen to come across this, just understand I'm trying.
see
Um, I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? We are very marketable and monetizable, you know what I'm saying? But hey, the reason why we are marketable and monetizable, because we give it to you real dog, raw dog. So pause. So, that's what it is. But anyway, Irv was so he was just he really occupied that space in a really good way. He brought it. Like when Murder Inc. was on top, they were on top. He is the mastermind. Why? Say what you want about Dame. Dame is another person like that. That regardless of what you think, because trajectories have changed, it does not change the impact they had when they had it. They were very, very responsible for the impact they had. And Irv was extremely responsible for the impact they had. He took the talent, he knew exactly how to market it, he knew exactly the pieces to put together on it, like Fat Joe being on What's Love. I guess if I remember correctly, that was a record for that
Yeah.
was supposed to be for Ja Rule.
Mhm.
He called Fat Joe. He was like, "Man, come get on this." Fat Joe went down there like 4 in the morning, laid it down. Ashanti's vocals were on there, and then boom, like that's Irv. You know what I'm saying? Like there's talent in that. That doesn't that there's talent in that. There's a lot of talent in that, and those that have talent like that, if you do right by the people that you are using as talent, the one of my nuggets, because that's the type of label owner and artist and collaborator I am and will continue to be. Like, let's go get this cheese. I ain't got to rob you. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go get this cheese. And so his artist made money. You know, Irv was a big deal, man. Irv, that's a big loss. You know what I'm saying? He was only 54 years old. That's a big loss. He had a big deal to do with hip hop's evolution commercially. He had a big part to play in that. Um, and in that, he was Irv. He was Irv. He was very much, from Hollis, Queens, New York. He was very much that guy, and he was about to be. And I'm gonna say this, and this is the kind of visionary he was. And I think it's kind of crazy to look back on if you think about how the record business could have changed. We don't know how much better. I'm sure there would have been worse than this, but a lot of people, if you're young enough or even our age and you don't know or remember this story, Suge Knight, Jay Prince, Dame Dash, Irv Gotti were forming a black distribution label, like a major. This is when they all still had cheese to play the game. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And Irv was part of that. And there's a million executives that you can think of, but he was part of that foursome for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like he was called. Like think of the names I just named there: Suge, Jay Prince. Y'all don't know about Jay Prince and you, man. Jay Prince, Suge, Jay Prince, Dame Dash, Irv Gotti. We're going to own a black distribution label. In the days where you could and still monetize off of it physically, it was still in those days. It was before the full transition. So you have that major connection, and it's y'all that do it. And literally, when that got announced, then they were on their way. All four of them got their offices raided. So we're going to get into that later to talk about how that position of power is used to minimize y'all that are on this DEI or whatever and don't and want to minimize. I'm talking about us included because there's a lot of us out here that are doing the same thing. It's a real deal. Like they think of the power that would have signified just in record ownership and how that was 20 years ago. So think about where we would be 20 years, how what kind of ramifications that could have had all these years of all this bomb ass music and all these bomb ass artists that have come. Imagine if that came a big portion of that came through that particular man. There's a lot of power in that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of influence in that. There's a lot of that's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 some 20 to 22 years ago. Like think if they were able to form that and handle their business like you know how far, because Carter's what you say about any of those four gentlemen I named, they're connected and they get out there and they do go get that bread. You may not agree with their tactics on how they get it, but they were businessmen who went and got that.
Mhm.
So a lot of other people and a lot of other groups get rewarded for that behavior. Our president is getting rewarded for that behavior. I'm not even saying it in a hater way. I'm just talking about the differences in perception. He gets rewarded for that behavior, all brash and X, Y, and Z. And these brothers was coming in as businessmen and look at the picture that they get painted when they come that way. Now all of a sudden it's criminalized because you mean business. But when other people do it, it's oh, look at that. You look at him. He's a hard businessman. It's important to pay attention to the perception. So Irv was a big part of that. The fact that he was a big part of that potential says a lot to what he was down for. And me I'm a brother at the end of the day. So I'm always gonna I'm newer. I know all the stuff that go on. I'm quick to be like, man, F that. Hey, man, I'm quick to be on some of that. But at the same time, I always look at the brother first. And as a brother, he was down. He was down to take his resources. Let's go in here. Let's get this. They out here. We're making money, but we can still be making more money. We've all been in the game. We all see how much money they're making. Even though we're making money, look how much money they're making. And we're doing all the work. And they just have oh, well, shoot, we got the name now. Let's go do it ourselves. The whole world's going to follow us. He was a part of that potential. That says a lot. That says a lot to what he did when he was in the game. That says a lot to the influence he had to all the people around him. You know, he had his flaws, but we all do. But he was there, bro. Like he was there. Irv was there.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people can't say that. That's a top 5, top 7% of people who ever lived that are able to, get to that particular place. Whatever that space is, it's all the same space regardless of the industry. But when you get to that space and you're able to stay in that space, and have a big influence on a lot of the people that are successful in that space, it's a lot to be said. So we lost a big one. Regardless of whatever you may have thought, I highlighted the flaws and stuff for a reason because I think it's important for us to get back to looking at each other again. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, Look, man, this brother came up and he left an imprint that contributed to how we do things today.
Mhm.
There's a lot to be said in that. So rest in peace, Irving Lorenzo,
Absolutely.
because he was a
Yeah. Yeah.
yep, he
Thank
was.
you. Thank you for that. And I know a lot of hip hop heads appreciate you actually sharing that. So a lot of our show today, respectfully, is going to deal with Irv Gotti. And we know we are in a small pool of people, but we hope, as he's hearing his name over on the other side, that he'll stop in and see what we're doing here on Another Mother. So stay locked. So let's go into our inspirational quote. This is coming from somebody else from the other side. Anthony, you want to read that? Because you're on the West Coast, and that's coming from you know, one of the legends, one of the best.
Listen, we talk about GOAT. You about to get me on another 30-minute conversation talking about this cat because he, as a Sacramento Kings fan, he occupied that space for me. So I'm not going to even get into that. But all y'all, hoop heads that know about the rivalry of the Kings and the Lakers back in the day, 20 years ago, the 03, 04s, 02s, that 05s, like that, all that battle, y'all know what the hell I'm talking about. Hey, listen here. I am a Sacramento Kings fan. I'm an old school Atlanta Hawks fan, but I'm Sacramento all the way. So I absolutely ride for the Kings. And Kobe had a lot of things I didn't like in those days. And this cat is one of the best to ever touch ground. I really wish he was here. I promise you. I'm not saying that for you guys. I'm literally mean that from my heart. Like, I wish this cat was here. We could use him right now. We could use him right now. We could use this dude. I promise you. We could use this dude. I wish he was here. I wish he was here, brother. Real spit, because we got a big fight on our hands, and I wish he was here for it. So the quote is, I have nothing in common with lazy people who blames others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses. And stamp that. Like,
Great.
if you really think about your life's trajectory, anything that has to do with your life, man, I be having to give myself motivational talks, to make sure I recognize my greatness and be thankful for whatever it is I can give to the space that we're living in.
Yeah.
But this quote hits home because you have no idea. There's a lot of days I have spent like, man, listen, man, this time. But it's true though, at the end of the day, and that's what makes you keep going, because the last line, regardless of what mistakes you have made to this point, the last line just sums it all up. No excuse. I don't give a what you talking about. I don't care what you said. I got a story for you. It's legit and everything. It does not matter.
Yeah.
Don't matter. I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses. That's it. And listen, you already know that is Kobe Bean Bryant. That all day. That is Kobe Bean Bryant all day. That's why he was who he was. That's why he played the way he played. That's why the box office appeal about him was every single. As somebody who rooted against Kobe literally the 90% of his career, as somebody who rooted against him 90% of his career, I never him and LeBron James are the two I have never watched, and Michael Jordan, but
Mhm.
it's that appeal. Like, where no matter what, if I rooted against Kobe so many years, and every single time he was on, I watched the game because he was box office. I know Kobe Bryant's game. I have seen Kobe Bryant the most out of anybody. I have seen Kobe Bryant in person. You've seen Kobe Bryant in person with me.
Absolutely.
Let's keep it a buck. Listen, so they can't tell me about no Kobe Bean now. To see Kobe in person, son, I could do an hour conversation on Kobe. Trust me. So, that's just like that's an awesome quote. Lisa Renee, please, Add something to that.
I mean, I think it says everything it needs to say. If you are, I would say, in a current state right now, blaming your job, blaming your divorce, blaming your kids, blaming your ex-boyfriend, blaming your ex-girlfriend, understand that you have the power, which this is saying to me, in your hands to pivot in any situation. And if you don't pivot, then that's nobody's fault but yours. That's nobody's fault for yours. Because as long as you have eyes and ears and hands and feet, you can always dig yourself or see yourself out of a situation. But basically, Kobe is basically telling us the only person's holding you back is you. The only person that's holding you back is you. And I am an extremely hard worker. You know what I mean? I put YouTube videos out like I work YouTube full time, but I actually have a whole full-time job. You know what I mean? That's what people don't know. Doing productions on the side,
Yeah, yeah,
writing music,
that's right.
writing this and doing this. And so I am a person speaking from experience. I can sit and I can complain and I can say, oh, I don't want to do this because of this, and I don't want to do this because of this. But those are just excuses. In order for anything to take ground or take form or take shape, it's up to you. You have the power within your hands. So thank you, Kobe, for reminding us that you know, we I can't associate with lazy people. You know what I'm saying? My boyfriend came home sick one day. I was looking at him like he was crazy. I was like, hey, well, if you don't take your to work, what you doing? What you mean you sick? Uh-uh. No, sir. Figure it out. Go take some Pepto Bismol. You understand what I'm saying? What do we need? A Ricola. A Ricola. What do we need? Orange juice? I don't care what you need, but I need you to go back to work. Now, what I'm saying is to say is that when you are a hard worker like Kobe, like me, you got to kind of balance yourself when you see people calling because you look at, I mean, literally, I was looking at him like, have you lost your mind? You
Have
know
you
how many
lost
days
your
I didn't work
ever
when I was
loving?
sick? Go back. I came
Have
home
you lost
pregnant.
your
No,
ever loving mind?
go back. You understand? Go back to work.
Go back.
Okay? Save that sick benefit for when we really needed to go see grandma or somebody, but I don't
Go back.
at home. And this is my time. You understand? When I'm flying, that's when you come on. When I'm home, you stay away. Okay, you stay away. This is my time. No, but
Go back.
but seriously, so sometimes people who work as hard as I do, we do got to learn to balance and we do have to realize that everybody is not like us. And so I have grown to have to,
Go
kind of like,
back.
question myself. And I remember being very, very curt with my boyfriend, and I had to apologize. And he was like, oh, it's okay. And I said, no, it's not okay.
No, it is not.
I said, it's not okay.
Nope.
I said, because when you treat people bad, it starts to build up and you get comfortable. My
Yep.
whole job and goal is to treat you with kindness. That doesn't
Yep.
mean I'm perfect, but when I'm imperfect, again, no excuses. I'm going to be accountable for that and I'm going to say, I'm sorry. He was like, oh my God.
It's not. It listen.
He was
It,
like, she really is Mother Teresa, but black. His face is like, oh my God, when people calling her mother, the Black Mother Teresa, it's really, and this is a true story. Like I told him, nah, I apologize because again, as hard as I work, I expect everybody to be at that level, and everybody is not at that level. And so sometimes hard workers, we got to pull back because everybody is not where we are. And it doesn't mean one is right or wrong because everybody's journey is different. But I'm
facts.
telling you now, if you're in a situation, take your time and energy of complaining with your friends, complaining with people, and do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Take your time and energy you use complaining to yourself and complaining to your friends and do something about it.
Get your life. See, that's why we
Get
say get your coffee
your
and get your life
life.
together.
Bars.
Bars. All right, guys.
Bars.
So, on the premise of talking about Irv Gotti, we wanted to talk and make our health segment be around diabetes, which absolutely impacts the African American Black community the most. So, what is diabetes? Anthony, can you read what diabetes is?
Diabetes mellitus refers to a group of diseases that affect how the body uses blood sugar, glucose. In other words, an excessive amount of sugar in the blood. Too much sugar in the blood can lead to health problems. Type 1 diabetes is genetic. Type 2 diabetes is diet related.
Exactly, guys. So, what you need to know is obviously when it comes to type 1, that's normally genetic. You know, it was something in your family with your autoimmune system. You have certain antibodies that are in your system where it's not working out fine. But we want to talk about type 2 because when it came to Irv Gotti, this one seemed to be type 2 because it talked about in the articles that I was reading with TMZ that he was trying to get a healthy lifestyle and things like this. But there was also a recording of him talking about you got to live your life to the fullest, right? Because you're born and then you die. And he's right. But a lot of times living our life to the fullest, we believe in drinking it up, eating it up, doing this and doing that. And we don't realize it catches up with you.
Yep.
It catches up with you. And so he was having stroke after stroke after stroke after stroke. And diabetes, guys, it will take you out. It will take you out, guys. So let's all, if you are another mother, official Lisa Renee, Aunt Wow fan, subscriber here, guys, let's take this plunge to reduce the sugar in our diets. No one's saying eliminate anything because that's just not realistic, right? Everybody want on their birthday to have a slice of cake or something like this, but we cannot exercise that all day. Anthony, how was your diet today? I mean, this affected me. I think the only sugar I probably had today was a poppy soda, which has 5 grams of sugar in it, and then my cup of orange juice. Other than that, I ain't took no piece of candy. I've been trying to be really, really careful. How about yourself?
Um, yeah, I'm always trying to be careful, but we're not perfect. Let's keep it
Right.
a thou wow.
With me, he just cut up today. He didn't know
Let's
that
keep it a
question
thou
was
wow.
coming.
No, today I didn't do that bad. I did
Okay.
have a see. Here's my thing with me, because here's the power of sugar. Because I'm a person, as you know, that likes sugar. It's not like I just like a big old thing of sugar, and I don't like things sweet for no reason. But there are a lot of things that exist in the world that are sweet that I have a palate for around this MF.
You
Yes. So I have to constantly be wary of sugar. I don't go get cookies. And I go get me some cookies. I get the hey, look, don't let me get the name dropping of some cookies now. Hey, listen, don't let me get the name dropping. Matter of fact, I am gonna name drop a little bit. This might get a little sponsorship.
okay.
Hey, there's little Chips Ahoy, but there's all kind of different Chips Ahoy. They got the Reese's Cup Chips Ahoy. Hey man, they got obviously the regular, the old school Chips Ahoy, but then they got the Chips Ahoy Deluxe with the extra chocolate on it. And then they got the Chips a little white chocolate with the macadamia. Hey man, listen here, I go give you some cookies. You understand what the heck I just said? So as a result, I don't get cookies anymore because I can't just eat a couple cookies and be. I
Right.
already know that.
Right.
That is my point. We just got to become realistic about certain things. Now, to say I'd never get cookies a day in life, that is a lie. But
Right.
what I'm saying is, it's like I don't get them though either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the way sugar works, as much as I'm a fan of sugar, the way sugar works, if you really take a break from it, you really don't have a desire for it. The only desire you really will have at that time are like natural sweets.
That's
Like fruit, I'm never getting rid of that. So good
right.
luck. I mean, if
Right.
I got to go out dying on a hill on some fruit, I got because I'm eating some fruit and all kinds of different kinds of fruit balls.
Right.
But I'm talking about fruit, y'all. Literally fruit, apples and oranges. I can't pause on everything, and y'all clip it up and then be like, "Look what Ann said." But I'm just saying. So you might catch something. Disclaimer. I'm just talking about fruit, though. I mean, pause, I guess. But so like you'll have a smoothies like me I'm a big smoothie type cat, you know what I'm saying? So you'll have those will be the sweets that the things that you crave from a sweet standpoint. You won't really want to go, you voluntarily go get back into sugar. As somebody who likes sugar and has broken sugar, I only have gotten back into sugar because I voluntarily have, meaning I was like, well, I'll just get this. And you know what, the first couple times I get some cookies, when I come off of that, it will last because I'm not really into sugar like that. It'll
Right,
last. So it's like
right.
boom. But it's like somebody who smoke, I don't want to say it's as addictive as somebody who smokes cigarettes, but the philosophy is the same. I keep eating. By the time at the end of these cookies, I most likely I'm gonna go get another, or want to go get another, or have to deal with the taste of constantly having something sweet like that. Pause in my diet. So that's why we have to be mindful of sugar. Now, I'm gonna put a little sugar in my oatmeal. I had some oatmeal today. I put a little sugar in there, but I try and use the organic kind because you go get the
The
sweetener.
brown one or like cane sugar?
It's the pure cane organic sugar from
Okay.
Costco, the big one. Anybody
Yeah.
that know about that one, that big
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Right.
and it's kind of like a brown. It's
Yeah.
I can't even do. It's hard for me to do regular sugar no more because that's such a pure form of sugar. So like when I put it in my teas or
And you
something
don't
like
need
that,
much of it when it's
you
pure. That's
and
the
you don't need much of it. So that's the other part of it, right? Instead of
right.
having to take the brown sugar and put three or four, like when I make my oatmeal, I just get a good drizzle and maybe a good little half one, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It satisfies that. So now I'm not consuming as much, stuff like that. But sugar is a real thing. Diabetes runs in my family. Both of my parents had it. My mother had type 2, and she actually lost enough weight and cleaned up her weight enough to where she actually got rid of the diabetes. I don't know if it was like that at the
Yeah.
time she left, but she did get rid of it. So I'm saying there was there was a lot of adjustments. We just got to pay attention because our blood sugar type, the way we are,
Yeah.
just it's in our, hey, listen, the things they did over time. No, there's a reason we are the only ones with sickle cell. If you pay attention, it's really in front of you. You
Yeah.
really got to look hard if you really pay attention.
Right.
Forgive me, y'all, but that's what I'm on, because that's what I'm on, especially in today's time. But that's why sugar is so important. It's important for everybody, but it's really important for us. We just have to watch it because it's more likely to run in our bloodline. It's just a higher possibility it runs in our bloodline more than it does other people. It runs in everybody's, but it really runs in ours.
Absolutely.
Like, so we just have to be, as a result, our body processes it differently. So we just have to be very wary of it.
It is. And Anthony brought up something, guys. I am not trying to weird you guys out, but we need help. So I can't remember if it was our second video or our first video now that he's brought up his mother. Guys, if you go, was it the second video, Anthony, or was it the third one? The second. Was it the third? I think it was the third one.
I think it was the third.
There was the closest thing I can say to describe it. Raise your hand, Anthony, on the side that it was happening on. Raise your hand.
In that one, it happened over here.
No, it was on this one, the one that I saw, that side.
No, that was the second one. The first one happens here. The very first one as
The
the
one,
episode starts happens over here.
did you go back and play it back when I told you that one?
Yeah, remember I told you
Oh,
that. Remember I pointed that out to you. Remember I was like, as soon as it dropped, like after you told me about that, and I went
yeah.
and watched it. I think I either sent you a text and I said, it's literally right after we come from the screen and come to us. It happens right then. So it's at the
So,
very beginning of the episode. As soon as you see the YouTube screen, and then once you see us, literally when the camera switches back to us, you see it. And
so
I'm pretty sure now. But I'm pretty sure. I'm 92% sure it was on this side.
see, on my view, it looked like it was on his other side. But needless to say, guys, I wasn't going to bring anything, but he just brought up his mother, which is a subject I don't like bringing up because I know it's very tough for Anthony. He's had a lot of loss, just a lot of tragedies that have taken place, but the best way I can describe it, I think it's called an orb,
Hmm.
kept coming in the video while Anthony was talking. And
Mm.
I did not say anything to Anthony, guys, because I did not want to freak him out. I asked him some questions. He was like, "Oh, nobody's at the house." I'm like, "Nobody's at your house? Nobody's flashing no lights or nothing?"
Mm.
No. So, those people who are good in science or orbs, if you could watch those videos and tell us what you see, to the point that Anthony was like, "It's almost like they're giving me a thumbs up."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he lost, is it okay to talk further that he
Sure.
lost both of his parents. Um and we feel like their spirit is kind of coming to encourage us on this platform. So if you guys know anybody who's good in orbs who can identify it, or you're good in that, go watch. I believe it was either the second or the third one. They just it kept flashing. And I was like, again, I was trying not to throw Anthony off, but it was while Anthony was talking. And yeah, I wanted to say something
Uh,
about it last week, but I didn't. But yeah, we need to know, what was that?
what was that? Well, we know what it was, but we still want to know what was that.
And then after, guys, the show was over. Anthony didn't know about it, but after the show was over, it happened and he
It
caught it.
did.
He said,
It
"Oh my
did.
God, I see it." I said, "Is anybody at your house?" He said, "There's nobody here,"
And that's when she said it actually happened a few times during the show.
during the show. And
And
that's
I'm glad she didn't tell me during the show
right.
because I liked that episode. That was a good episode. You would have got that episode if you would have told me that during the show. We would have went a
Exactly.
whole nother direction.
Exactly, exactly. So if anybody can confirm that or know people that are special, we would really like to know if they can identify that object that took place. But we know his parents are with us. They love both of us very, very much. And I'll have to tell you some of the messages even his father gives to me often, and I'll say it quickly, and Anthony's like, "Oh my God. Like, how did you know that?" I'm like, "It
Yeah.
just
No,
came."
literally. No, literally some things where it's like literally what's happening. Like we hadn't talked in probably a week or so, and then she'll tell me something and it'll be like, that's literally what's going on right now. Literally what's going on right now.
Yeah, and
Like internally, like what's going on with me internally. Like it's not, it was like it was specific. The way it was worded was very specific. It was to the layers that were existing about a certain thing at that time.
yeah.
And it was like, no, that's literally what's going on right this minute. Like,
Exactly. And so
no.
him and I, before one of our patios, we had some accountability conversation. And I truly believe that was his parents' way of just kind of massaging us and telling us to continue to go forward. But
Yep.
we want to know from specialists. We know people that study that, are good at that. And we just want to get the confirmation. We believe we know what it is, but we want to get that confirmation too. Um, as
1,000.
well, guys. So listen, we're gonna get into we didn't call it so many names. I didn't change the name again. Y'all got to give us help on what y'all like. So Anthony wants to call Hot Topics. What up, though? I had sizzling news. I don't even think I like that. So you know what I just named it this week? In the know. We're gonna be in the know, and I am going to start off, and then Anthony's gonna take over. So, if you guys are not aware, there was thousands of people that rallied in Los Angeles regarding the ICE raids that were taking place. And by all means, protest, do what you have to do as long as you're doing it in a peaceful way. Obviously, there was a lot of negativity about the march that was going outside because people were like, "Well, why do y'all got Mexican flags? If you want to be American, you should be having the red, white, and blue flags." But that was one of the things that took place. Were you aware of that happening, Anthony? Because you are on that side of town.
Yeah, there was both of these have been talked about pretty good. Well, I'll keep it here, but the next one they both have been talked about pretty good. But yeah, well, because there was a
And you can go into that one too after you talk about it. Just lead right into it because that's a
Yeah, there was a I can't mention no names for the sake of confidentiality. I can't even say the relationship, but there was somebody I was talking to
mm,
of the Mexican heritage, and she is responsible for a lot of education that's being spewed out to her people regarding the situation that's going on now. Um, so she's, she works with groups and people who organize these kinds of things. Um, especially, um, in the Latino Mexican heritage down here, she's really responsible for that. So in that, she was already kind of talking about these things were going to be happening as far as the protests X, Y, and Z. They're trying to give more education, which I told her that's absolutely what needs to be happening. They're trying to give more education to those that maybe aren't fully legal, steps they need to take, or just ways that you can best protect yourself, because unfortunately, especially for a certain group of people, they have to now look out for themselves in a way where they have to try and protect themselves. Now, regardless of where you feel on the issue, because I understand both sides, I'm not sitting here, but I'm saying at the end of the day, like, this is the reality. And some people came here literally to get a better life, and they haven't been no problem. And so anyway, she's just responsible for like organizing and educating and things of that nature. So she was mentioning that the rallies were happening, you know, um, how they're trying to get people to stand with, and, just try and shed light on the whole situation as opposed to just being, you know, immigrants from Mexico or El Salvador or whatever coming in here to like, you know, um, you know, just take over the country and do bad stuff. Like, it's like a lot of community based, highlighting the things they need that they do to keep the community afloat, to where it's not a whole lot of mess going on and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, she had talked at length about it, just about the people rallying, protesting. Obviously, you want it to be peaceful, but if they're able to protest peacefully, then let them protest peacefully. Um, that's what
absolutely.
I will say, because there's others who did not protest peacefully, and then it did damage to the biggest building that we have, the symbolization of America, and then 1,500 of them got pardoned. So if they're being peaceful, allow them to be peaceful. Like I said in the last one in this, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we're just talking and keeping it real. I love the energy. Please protest as well as the massive boycott on Target, because that's the next thing we're talking about. I like the protest energy, but we need to be. It's really time for some mobilization and organization. Like, there's really need to be. We can't afford to protest and go home. That's on anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, um, you know, you want people to stand with you. I can dig it, but it would have been helpful if we were thinking this way before certain decisions were made. Even if you decided to make that decision, you should have been more informed about it, because it doesn't seem like you were. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I'm for that. I am for uh, voices being heard. I am loving revolutionary at my soul, just because I want better for everyone. I want our mind states to be better when we approach each other. So I'm down for the voices being heard in defense of that thought and that sentiment and that place of love. But we need to put something behind it as well. So we got massive boycott on Target. Um, and I'm assuming, well, not assuming, but I'm saying this is from the DEI. They are no longer, they've withdrew from their DEI mandates,
Right.
and so a lot of people are boycotting. And again, I'm down for voices being heard.
Yeah, Jamal Bryant, he brought it up even at his church service. Like he was very passionate about it. He brought it up too as well. I heard people rallying, outside in front of one of the Target stores, and people were cutting up their cards right live online TV, just shredding up their Target cards because of the DEI pullback. So.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a very interesting shift, you know what I mean? Because this narrative, we're gonna get into more of this even on some entertainment stuff, but it's very poignant. This DEI narrative is really starting to take legs. And I think you guys, everyone, black folk, white folk, Mexican folk, Asian folk, East Indian, Western, whatever, I think we need to take real heed to this because, especially if you're quote unquote considered a minority, you spend a lot of time separating yourselves from others, right? And so, but all of us, I'm including everybody. We do that a lot of times, right? I'm grateful to grow up in a place where we didn't really do that as much. Like all my groups of friends, Lisa will tell you, it's literally every color of the rainbow. Because in those settings, you just get real people down with real people. Everybody, they got every color in the book. Everybody I can name, I got birthday pictures and all that. All these different races, and there's some real cats up in there because real recognize game, real recognize real, and that's the thought I try and promote. You know what I'm saying? So in this DEI, what the narrative is the narrative is that, okay, if you voted against somebody who was going to pull the DEI, then you're voting against the thought that you're only you they don't have to consider you. It's not like we can't do the jobs. We can do any job. We literally can. We can do anything anybody can do if we get exposed to the situation. It is what it is. We can. A lot of times we're not exposed to the situation because we don't know what that situation looks like because we're intentionally in this bubble to where we don't understand what that looks like. But we can do anything. So now when they push this narrative that they don't have to consider you, it's not that it's the consideration of it. We all want the best person to have, you know what I'm saying? When I go in there, it would be awesome if I had a black surgeon. It would be the joint. I would be no more prideful if there was a black person who was about to do surgery on me, Lisa, my queen, anybody that I love, my sisters, my brother, my nephew, anybody that's going to be doing surgery on anybody that's close to me. It would be awesome if it was a black surgeon. It would be really awesome if it was a black female surgeon just because of the woman and all that, obviously black men, but all the things, right? That would be awesome. But I am not going to sacrifice, I am not going to pick a black surgeon over the surgeon who's not black, who's better. If the white surgeon's better, I'm picking that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that gets lost. Like, we don't have the intelligence to differentiate things like that. You want the best person for the job, but we need to be considered in that. Now, in that consideration, black folks, when we get there, we got to show up and show out. That's our responsibility to it. So we'll speak to that. You know what I'm saying? People like me and Lisa, we'll check that. We'll try and do what we can to drop nuggets so that we can approach our whole business situation in a more professional manner. I talk about it all the time because I've had to do it myself. I'm not telling nobody nothing I ain't had to do myself. I'm a good businessman. I know I'm all down for doing right, but there's still certain parts about the game that were not tight. I've had to have these conversations with myself. Like, so in that, we do got to show up and show out. And because they're so willing to remove it, we really got to show up and show out now. It doesn't mean you got to kowtow. Don't mean you got to kiss butt. It don't mean you got to do anything. You know what I'm saying? It just means you got to show up and do your thing. And we got to be purposeful and how we move through this. There's got to be some purpose to this. There's got to be some organization outside of work where you're doing more to set yourself and your movement up in a way that's gonna build, leave legs, and leave a bigger imprint on the world. That's just where we are right now. Again, like I said last week, there's a lot of things that I'm gonna have to do I don't want to do because I don't feel like being around y'all like that. But the reality of it is, I'm just joking, but I'm just saying, like, we just got to be so they're boycotting. I'm sorry, I know I went long winded, but they're boycotting. It's cool, it's peaceful, all the stuff. removal of the DEI, the fact that they backed out of it. Why would you? Because a huge portion of your employment base are minorities. And the market that you cater to it's not just the upper middle class that wants these deals. You have people that go into Target for a reason. You got people that go into Walmart for a reason. You can get some pretty good things because you've actually upped the value of the Target brand stuff. So now it's not like back in the day. Remember back in the day, you got a Target brand stuff. You like, man, I ain't wearing that shirt. It's terrible. It's actually half decent now. So now you've allowed all kinds of different people to be able to go in here, get a cool fit for their kids or whatever, pretty decent quality, and you have a lot of minorities in the stores. No matter where you are, every place I've been. When I go into a Target, there's minorities that are working in there. So I don't even understand that. That kind of goes against the image. Why would you remove that? It doesn't make any. I'm very confused at a lot of people's mind states, and I'm very confused at a lot of motive. Well, I'm not confused at the motives. I don't understand why that would be the decision you would make.
Yeah, I'm not confused. Social media, there's a reason why we got followers. There's a lot of followers in the world. There's a lot of people that don't play lead, they play staff positions, and certain people that play staff positions, they're going to follow. They're going to follow the trend. They also are the people that probably in your face say one thing, but behind your back, they do something completely different. Just understand with boycotting, you also do hurt minorities too, because if you do boycott stores, there'll be less sales, there might be job loss. So we have to keep that in mind too. And I think that's what what's her name? Tabitha, like the girl that got famous off
The
of Soul
the
Food.
yeah, she has the
Yeah.
vegan stuff in
Yeah,
Target.
yeah. She was
Yeah,
talking about that if you don't support these things, it actually hurts her as well as other African American entrepreneurs who work very hard to get in the store. So, if you need to boycott and you feel like you do need to, but also do understand it's going to impact people of color too. And that's the beautiful thing of Anthony and I, the beautiful thing of a man and a woman. Sometimes we see things differently. So, what we want you to do is just read, become aware, and then exercise whatever option you feel that works best for you. You
it
know?
does affect them. It's Tabitha and the other. I can't remember the other lady.
Yeah. I know
It's
he did
two
that.
of them,
It's two of
and
them.
they both kind of said the same thing, and that's real too, and that's why it's sucky. You know what I'm saying? Not to stay here, but that's kind of my point. When I say I'm confused, obviously I know what's going on, but I'm still even in that like just I don't know from a human level. I'm like, this is what you have going on. You promote this. Why would you make that move? What kind of statement are you saying? Like you that's like a big flex to me. Like, I don't care. Y'all just need us anyway. Like, you're not gonna go anywhere. Like, y'all ain't going nowhere. You need us. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of a big flex to me. That's why
I
I
really think when Kamala came in and she brought the wave in, a lot of people thought she was going to win. And so people were saying a lot of things because in their mind, they really thought she was going to win, but they didn't understand the power of money, aka Elon, aka Congress trying to get him fired right now. That's a whole nother conversation.
right.
I don't think people understand how powerful money motivates people. AKA, if you sign a petition, I'll give you $1 million if you vote. So we will go ahead and, and
Facts.
move on from
No,
that.
that's facts. Yeah,
So
because we can stay there until Sunday.
hopefully you guys got some information from that.
Yeah, no, we can
You
stay there
know,
until Sunday. So for
yeah, a
sure,
lot of people give you half the information, so we want to make sure that you have everything, so you can make an informed decision. So
for sure.
right after we ended our show last week, the another Philadelphia airplane had crashed. Um,
Yeah.
it was a medical airplane that had crashed. Seven people died. Also, 15 plus people were injured on the ground. I think there's one body still missing, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken. So, obviously, God bless those souls, and also condolences to those family members who are probably mourning right now. I understand there was one pediatric patient that was on board. So obviously some little baby that obviously had an illness and unfortunately already probably in pain to only have this happen. It's just really sad. It's
Yeah.
just really sad all the way around. And then also for the flight 5432, the black boxes were discovered for both of the planes. Basically, the news media is they are reporting that the helicopter was at approximately 325 feet. It was supposed to be at 200 feet. And so, it should have been lowered in so many words. And so that's the information we have now. There's no more updated information that I'm aware of. All bodies have been recovered as well, which is really good because now families can go on with funeral services. They have their family member's body and things like that, so they can proceed with getting some type of closure. I know you'll never um you never can get that person back, and you never can understand how a person feels. I know how much it affected me and a lot of other people, but at least you have the body back and you can get some type of closure having the funeral. Anything to say to that, Anthony?
The just that closure is enormous.
Yeah,
I can only, I just, a couple of people come to my mind that have lost loved ones, sons, and haven't had a chance to have that closure. And I just pray for them that they could, So the fact that you can have that closure,
yeah,
it sounds, we're not going to stay here long. We're not going to even stay here too much longer than this, but it sounds simple. They sound like words, but all of us that have had to go through the closure process, I could only imagine not having that. It's a big deal. So for the bodies to be recovered, that actually is cool. You can, whatever closure you need to have, you can fully go through that process, and you know begin the journey of, I don't know what this is. The rest of the world calls it moving on. Hot.
exactly. Guys, also, ATC media is reporting that ATC air traffic control is understaffed. And that current workers are under high pressure. Ronald Reagan, right now specifically, are taking less flights in because of the low staffing in Washington, D.C. right now, and obviously the flight and things like that too as well. And allegedly, they are saying that some of the moves that Elon is making is impacting this workforce as well as other workforce, which is why Congress is trying to come in and make changes. Obviously, he has access to people's Social Security and access to people finances. And so Congress is really up in arms right now, trying to make change. And so we share this with you just so I hope 4 years from now, and I'm not saying one is right or wrong, please, my God, in 4 years from now, guys, read, understand what things are so that
Man,
you clearly know what you're voting for.
man, listen here and double down on that. Stamp that the uninformed days are over.
Right.
And I say that with a little bit of grief for myself, because I now have to pay attention more to the world in certain ways than I really want to, because you over here messing with me with all this crap you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you got it. Let us be over here. I don't want to have to be worried about you. But the fact that I am, now I got to get informed about, you know what I'm saying? And when I say about you, I'm talking about all y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about all you MFs, right? Like, okay, yeah, all right. So to double down on Lisa, because a lot of this stuff, again, to his defense, he said he was going to do this. And now everybody's up in arms for the stuff he's doing. He
Right.
said he was going to do it. And,
Right.
and and those that try and minimize it, you would never minimize anybody else in the history of the office. Like, come on, man. Like, we just got to be informed.
Right. And that's
We,
why, guys, if y'all wonder why I'm so cool, calm, and collected, I ain't shocked. I ain't surprised. He already told us he was going to do it.
you did
So
say
I
this.
can't be moved or shaken by something that I already knew what was coming. You're
Facts.
only shocked by something that you didn't expect. And if you didn't expect it, then I would tell you you're very uninformed
Got to
because
be informed. Got to be
Trump
informed.
will sign an executive order to put bubble gum
Yeah.
mandate in
Yeah.
office
Yeah.
if he wanted
Yeah.
it to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just the person that we're dealing with. And kind of going back to what Kobe said, we can make excuses about it or we can do something about it.
Right.
And that's
Boom. And
that.
that's that.
Now this is good news, guys. This is this
That's
is
that.
this is this is good news again for small content creators. We talked to you about getting on news quickly. We talked to you about being mindful to avoid you being demonetized and wanting to get ads. Be careful of the things you say. But here's the third thing that you need to know if you're thinking about getting a YouTube channel. The White House is offering, it's called new media. New media, that's including YouTube content creators. He's including in that White House credentials. There's over 7,000 applications right now. So what that means basically, they're going to have seats for people like me and Anthony and the other platforms out there that's doing their thing. I think Tasha K got her credential approved. So if you're thinking about getting on this YouTube bandwagon, you better do it because another thing we know about Trump, he loves social media. But he's also tired of the other type of medias because he feels like they're not always honest, right? And I'm not saying they are not. This is just Trump. He doesn't feel like they're always honest. So he's listening to the content creators because he realized a lot of us are out here hustling. A lot of us are out here doing the research. We are out here working and bringing the news. And people like you who are listening in, you appreciate news coming this way versus being so polished and done up and everything is perfect. We're just giving it to you raw. And that is the time and the day that we're in. So I'm telling you guys, go to, I think it's White House Gov, new media or something like that. Get your application in. Even if it doesn't get approved right now, you at least get your name on the list so you can get a place in a seat at the White House. Media is changing, everybody. Media is changing,
It
everybody.
is.
This is a
It is.
win for us, right? Because the president is taking us serious, right? So let me tell y'all, if a lot of y'all, I'm just going to talk about Instagram. If you are doing content for free, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your talent. Get on platforms that's going to pay you to do what you do. It takes a lot of work doing content, a lot of hours editing and doing all these things, a lot of researching and things like that. Get paid for it.
Right.
Stop working for free. Haven't we all worked for free? Who works a job and do the bare minimum? Most of us do more than we need to do.
Right.
So stop giving your content away from free and get on platforms that's going to pay you for it because you if Trump is willing to do that, we don't know what's coming next. So get on the train
That's true.
ASAP, guys.
That's
This is
true.
a win. He's listening to us. He's taking us serious. He's appreciating, and he's putting a role in the front. If you listen to the press secretary, he's going to have a role for it's called new media.
Mm,
Anybody is a YouTube, TikTok, any type of content creator, Facebook, Instagram, that you are considered that new media,
mm.
right? So if
That's
you're
game.
trying to brand yourself and trying to move ahead, you got to get the noise out the way. Nobody got time for that. There's nothing we can do right now. President is president. Be about your business.
Yeah.
Hey,
Facts.
don't make it personal, make it business. I did a video. That video did very well. I'm telling you the same thing. Go listen to that video. Do not make it personal, make it business. Get that
Right.
X back up.
Yeah.
Put your X back up and brand yourself and expose yourself because there's people that are on Twitter that wants to see your content. Money is green, babe. Money is green. Make it business. Don't make it personal. So White House is doing that. Jump on it, Anthony. Jump on it right away.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump
I can
on it.
take you there. And let me tell you what I did see.
Mm,
I went to the White House. I don't think I've ever went to the White House site. Shame on me. Maybe when I was younger, but I was really happy to see that Trump signed. Call me Candace Owens right now, guys. But Trump signed an executive order for Black History Month to remain. And I was like, let me make sure I saw it. I had to wipe the
yeah,
crust out
facts.
my eyes. I said I had to take my glasses off. I said, let me read it. And Trump talked about the contributions to Black people. It was so warming. It was so wonderful to
About
see you
time.
guys. So
I'm talking
when
about
I
his,
say
that
educate,
warmth. Be
when I
warm.
say educate yourself, educate yourself. That's the stuff that's not being highlighted. Go to the White House website, read the words he said and the contributions, which is why he mandated it. He did not want it to go anywhere because he understands the contributions that African Americans make to this world, what we've done. And that made me feel very, 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 very good.
That's a
Um,
win.
yeah, absolutely a win.
That's a
God, do
win.
you have anything to say before we talk about Shamar Moore?
No. Yeah, I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna do the thing. It is a everything. I don't have all the answers. Everything she said about making it business, that is true. But we also have to, even in that space, we got to be gearing up to excel even beyond that.
Hmm.
We got to keep that in mind. We do have to, there is a certain mobilization. This is my opinion. There is
Absolutely.
a certain mobilization that does need to happen. Um, you can, because I've been having this conversation with others close to me, with myself, because obviously there's a lot of things that we do where I'm like, God dang, the ideologies in a lot of ways that you are spewing and the people that are in line with this, it's like, God, I don't want to. But also, it's like, okay, well, I could make it business, which is what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna be smart about that business though. In that, I'm gonna be very, very strategic on other ways to keep it going, um, if need be. So we have to. There's just got to be a lot more purpose in how we do this. That's just at the end of the day. Like I will, I'm just in that business model because I 1,000% agree with everything you said along that. But we do have to we just got to be a lot more purposeful. We got to be a lot more connected. We got to be a lot more informed, and we got to be a lot more willing. We got to be a lot more willing to mobilize and strategize and uh, emphasize. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, also, right after we did our show, the news broke that Shamar Moore broke up with the mother of his daughter. I was definitely disheartened by that. I thought, Shamar Moore is around our age, probably older. I think he's older than us.
yeah,
And
he's older.
I thought that she would have been the one that he would have finally settled down with. They just had a baby. I think the baby is only a year old. And sometimes that first year is kind of a little crazy in relationships. And so a lot of couples, and this is my life coach hat, tends to give up after that first year of having a baby. And I'm here to tell you that if you can just stick in for a couple of years, you'll get past that hurdle and that hump. It just hurt for me as a mother. I believe she already had a couple of children or maybe one child, to now thinking that you're with someone for life to know that that situation is over. And so I really just was hoping that Shamar Moore, it would have been good to see him settle down and and be there and be in the house with his child Monday through Friday and all. And not saying he's not, because I'm sure they're co-parent. And like you said, we're co-parent, we're working together. But that's easy to say at the beginning. All of us who've been through it, that's easy when that baby's little. But as they get older and you start dating other people and she start dating other people, it can sometimes become a little bit challenging. But I always feel sorry for the child at the end of the day because now that child, they can barely walk, but they'll have to be going, between, two houses and things like that. And so it was just really sad. And Shamar, obviously wants privacy, people not in his business, but people, because I'm all in the comments looking at people like, we wouldn't know your business if you wasn't out here running your mouth. Woo, boy, them trolls be funny. Um, but I know relationships are not easy to navigate, but I can tell you if you have the will, there is a way. If you have the will, there is a way. And I just wish him, the baby, as well as her, I think her name is Jessica, all the best.
You know what? I am realizing, I think I may have remembered this, but I'm pretty familiar with Shamar Moore. I don't know every single thing about my brother, but I'm pretty familiar with him. And I'm just kind of looking right now because I got a thought, which is what made me kind of go look and see. And Shamar Moore is from the town. He is from Oakland, California. Hey, no wonder you got so much little edge to you. You know what I mean? That's that little. Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you, the mixed cats from up north, the mixed cats in Northern California. Hey, man, they got that. They got that. They
Popping that collar.
especially the old school ones. They got more of our, they got more of our swag, our bop to it. They was on our flavor. You feel me?
Yeah.
So Shamar's a part of that. That's why he's always had that little edge to him, with the pretty light skinned boy paws. But anyway, um, yeah, it's just interesting when you're with somebody, you have the child is a year
That was a
old.
song of ours
What's that?
on Perfect Image. Didn't we ask Shamar Moore song? Shamar's
You
name
you
on
said his
Perfect?
name? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like Shamar Moore? Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Shamar, we
You
added you
did.
in one
Hey,
of our
Shamar. Hey,
songs.
we need to
Yeah.
send. Hey, Shamar, tap in
Girls
so we
gonna
can
sing to
pause.
you.
Tap in so we can
Yeah.
send that over to you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Send
I gotta sing your
you a
line to you, Shamar. Yes, yes.
yeah, you got to send you a 17-year-old Jim, 17, 18-year-old Jim on you. There's plenty of gems in the vaults. Trust, y'all. We ain't done. This is not the only thing y'all gonna be witnessing. Trust. Um, um, but I mean, did they say what? Because a couple things I looked at, they just said they split. Was there
Oh,
a
that's it. He's mum about it. He is
okay?
mum.
So he's mum about it. So you just never really know. She's a pretty girl. I'll tell you, she can get it. You know, what I'm saying? She can get it.
Yeah, they're mum about it, which is the best way, because then people
Yeah, that's the
rip it
absolute
apart.
best way. It just things like that. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of makes you. I don't know. It's kind of like what happened. I mean, obviously we want to know what happened, but I'm more into the everyday sociology of it as opposed to, ooh, what happened? Did you know he did this? Like, I ain't on that. I'm like, every single day when you woke up and looked at her and looked at your child, what happened? Like, what made you, or obviously, or there could be a situation we don't know about, and quiet is kept, like on some real. A lot of times there are situations that we just don't need to know about
Yeah,
because a lot of times they ain't. If you give it to the world, they're going to take it out of context of what it is. You may have just really hurt my feelings. You didn't mean to, but you did. And it was
yeah,
hard for me to get over. And maybe your response in that just didn't really jive with mine. And I don't know if I can get on. And we just might have to separate now. Maybe it's like that. But if I give y'all the situation, you know how the story goes. You know how the exercise goes. You're in a room with 20, 30 people. You tell a secret to somebody. By the time it gets to the 30th person, it's a completely different story.
it is a
So
complete.
now I got to have all that influence on something that's personal between me and my chick. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand the mum's the word. Yeah, y'all, because y'all, other than a lot of reflection like or humorous stories, you ain't gonna get none out of my relationship neither. I promise you that. So
Right.
because we do a very good job at staying with us. We know where it's at, we know where it's hitting for. And I honor the people who always, Denzel and Pauletta, they're a very loving couple. You know that they have this wonderful family, beautiful black excellence at its finest. I mean royalty, like put the flag in it. Yes. But you don't know a lot.
Yeah,
You feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
LeBron and Savannah, as public as LeBron James is, he is one of the most public people who have
yeah.
ever literally walked the face of this planet. You don't know what's going on with him and Savannah. They're everywhere. You see them all the time. You don't know
Right,
what's going on with them. You just
right.
know they're together. They love each other. They got their own little handshake. She's beautiful. He recognizes she's beautiful. They have three awesome kids together. They got a loving family, black Cosby's literally living. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, have nothing but salute, woo, woo. But you don't know what's going on. You don't know Savannah said, brother, kiss my butt yesterday. She might have told
Right.
him that
And
yesterday.
it ain't
Hey,
your,
man,
it
kiss
ain't
my
our
butt.
Yeah, and it ain't our business.
and it ain't our business.
And it ain't our
So
business. So
I
Shamar, Bryant,
understand the mum's the word, Shamar. I get you on that.
here's the thing though, when you do the, as a life coach, I can analyze, like I said, they just had a baby. That is a stressful time in the first year, but you do have an opportunity to show people that you are human when you do share your stories with people.
That's true.
Because a lot of times people just want to learn, and we're all trying to grow. And a lot of times as celebrity, you want the sales, you want people to see your movies or see your TV series and all of that. But no, they don't own all of your life. But there is something to say about people who do share and who's vulnerable to share, that it can help a lot of people grow. And there's a way you can share without disparaging the other one too, as well. I think Megan Good did a great job with that when she had the interview with Shannon, and she talked about her ex, Devon Franklin. She said it so beautifully, so eloquently. No, she didn't go into the dig details, but she did talk around it enough that you can kind of put two and two together. But again, I respect people's privacy. He ain't got to tell us not a daggone thing. How about that? Hot.
Yeah, and there's a lot, and there's a way to get, and I do agree with sharing stories. There's also a way to be very informative without keeping people in your business too.
True.
And but you do need the stories. Yeah, we wouldn't learn anything if nobody told stories. So I do 1,000% agree with. No,
Mm,
no, no, no. What I'm
yeah,
saying
that's
is
good.
you would
No,
like.
that's good. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
no,
yeah. Like you don't
yeah,
learn anything if people don't tell stories. So I
yeah,
1,000% do agree with that sentiment that you stated because we don't learn. I mean, some of the greatest lessons I've learned was because people told stories. But
yeah,
famous between
yeah.
us as humans, like a lot of famous people, I have learned great lessons from because they told stories. So,
Hallelujah.
um,
Hallelujah.
I think you just kind of take it as you will. If you do tell your story, maybe just make sure you're being as tasteful as possible because it's going to be hard, right? I personally am not going to tell a story about somebody that I was with, whether I'm with them today or
Right.
not. Like, obviously Lisa knows, like,
Yeah.
there was a person I was with that it didn't end well or anything. I'm never gonna, um, even in anything that I would ever tell regarding that story, it's always going to be, you're always going to get, I was with you for a reason at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what kind of gets lost a lot when people all of a sudden they're just so nasty with each other in public,
Right.
right? But you were with this person. So what happens, I don't think that a lot of people realize, and I'm not even blaming people that are famous. You may not just realize the effect of it. That that dynamic translates into the real world. So then a lot of people, when they go to separate, if all we see is housewives and stuff, and every time something's wrong, there's a violent scene or whatever, to say that doesn't permeate to real life is an absolute lie because not everybody can realize that that's not their life, right? That is, you know what I'm saying? So it's very important, to keep that context, which is why I say I'm gonna always give lessons around my relationships, even my current one. But there is still I understand the mum's the word about it too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because when he does talk, he can still talk about it in a way where we learn a lot of lessons to where he don't gotta bash her. So
Absolutely. You can put it on yourself. No
right.
better story to
one
tell
thousand
than the
percent.
story about
1,000.
yourself,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
talking about Roe, it's funny you talk about that. So they dropped the trailer of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm really excited that Portia is back. We've been waiting for her to come back. I saw a little snippet of Kenya because Kenya was no longer on it. I saw Cynthia there too as well, and then Phaedra. So it was really good. However, it showed a clip of Phaedra, looked like she was crying and talking to her mother, and obviously she went through a very public divorce that has not been very pretty. But Simon said, "I got time today." Okay. Simon said, "Let me tell y'all something, women. Y'all better stop with these African men. They will clap back, honey. These African men, they will not stay mum. You got to understand. These African men are very, very smart. Honey, you say something. Simon said, honey, I got time today. He was like, I am sick of this family. Simon was like, I am over it. So talking about Shamar Moore and how Anthony talked about his relationship and now talking about Roe and things like that. Just be careful who you say I do to, who you have a baby by, because what is loving and beautiful today, it can change like this in a moment's notice.
Yeah, I mean, you have got to be
I
careful.
mean, they had the African wedding, they had the American wedding. I really thought that
Did you really?
Simon, yeah, I mean,
I don't watch any of it. I can't front, and I'm gonna only engage from a personal space because I can't. I'm sorry. I know we're giving current events. I can't. That's I can't. But I always kind of know the overbearing. I can't watch a lot of it. That's just I leave it. I'm dumber. I gotta get brain cells back. It's time I can't get back. No disrespect. Do your thing, baby girl.
yeah, no,
Everybody,
you
go
can't.
get your paper. Don't get it twisted. Go get your paper. But I don't again, there's we got to be wary of every whatever, and then you make your decisions however you make your decisions. But anyway,
Absolutely.
so but what I'm saying is you said you thought they were gonna make it. I don't. I mean,
I hope
I
that you're
don't know.
gonna.
Like, really? I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
she
know. I
seemed
mean,
to
I
be.
guess I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
she seemed to be really happy with him for a period of time. And if you've watched Portia's career, when Portia loves, she loves really, really hard. From Cordell to Dennis and then now Simon. Like, you know what I mean? And now, don't get me wrong, she sees dollar bills. That girl, she knows how to spot men with money like nobody's business. But she does love very hard and tries to be the brand she portrays. But let me tell you, she's not just the brand. I've never shared this with anybody, and I normally never will. But I have served Portia in first class on my Delta flights. And when I can tell you she was the sweetest, nicest person ever. I have never, ever, ever shared that publicly. But that persona of sweet and nice on TV, she was exactly that in person.
that's good.
Gorgeous.
Now I didn't say
And the
no.
same
Nobody
thing,
said
that
that. Hey,
ain't
listen, you
again,
know me.
that ain't
Now
no
you know me.
filter, that
You
ain't
know
no
me.
lie.
Now
She is
listen, I'm
so
glad. It's good to hear
beautiful.
you say that because I don't give nobody they props
She's
unless I see him in
beautiful.
person. I have not had the honor of seeing her in person, but I will tell you, I am going to take your word for it because when I do see her on TV, now we didn't say nothing about the looks. Now wait a minute. You know me, I like
She
me
is
a pretty little
Portia.
chocolate thing. So hey, now I didn't say nothing about that. Now,
She's
hey, we weren't
beautiful.
talking about that.
Yeah, she was very sweet, very nice. So,
Nah.
with that being
The
said,
beauty ain't the problem.
yeah, her persona it seemed like it matched what we see actually on TV. So I mean, I want anybody to win, just like I wanted Jen and Ben to win. I mean, I think it broke my heart so bad when they got a divorce because I really wanted to see them win. And
Why did they get a divorce?
well, according to Lo, the little bit I heard, it started to take a downfall after her documentary came out because she
Oh,
shared some of his
that's right.
personal
That's right. I did hear
letters.
that. I
Yeah,
did hear
she
that.
shared some
Yep.
of his personal letters, and he was
I
happy about that. And
yep.
it just started tumbling down.
Yeah, I do.
Um,
I do remember. Yep. I don't. We
yeah,
might have talked about it on here. Maybe it was
I
like the
think so.
first episode.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That's right. I do remember that. Yep. And I do. Yep. I feel you, Ben. Yep. I feel that. I'm not saying anybody right or wrong, but because I don't know everything that happened
right.
behind the closed doors. But from that dynamic alone by itself, I feel that. I do feel
Yeah.
that. I
So,
do feel that.
guys, lastly, before we go into sports, we are going to talk about the Grammys. We cannot end the show without talking about the Grammys. So, Anthony, whoo, that was a lot for me. I will let you take whatever part you want to take. There's only really two people we probably need to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna roll through
Dun,
it,
dun,
and
dun, dun.
we'll just
Hey,
see how it
dun, dun,
happens. Yeah,
dun,
we'll
dun.
get to that. We'll get
Hey,
to that.
dun, dun, dun,
We'll just
dun.
roll through it and see
Hey,
how things. Yeah,
Super
that is,
Bowl.
listen,
Hey.
listen. Hey,
Hey.
uh, yeah, dude. I guess we can start there. Why not? Right? Who cares?
Dun, 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 dun.
Was it
Hey,
five
dun,
or was
dun.
it four?
It was five. Hello.
It was five. He
Five
did the
with the
sweet. He
shady
did the
tech
sweet.
engineer playing certain parts of the song as soon as he got on stage.
Listen, dog.
Yeah, it was
And
five.
then I read something that Drake is now suing the Grammys. So I guess if you're gonna sue UMG, you got to sue the Grammys too. I
Is
guess you
he? I
know.
didn't. I know Rick Ross is suing the Grammys, but Drake is too. Allegedly, I didn't hear that.
Well, Drake is suing
Ah,
UMG.
that's right. Now I did know about that, but I know.
So I'm saying so I just read something earlier today, I believe it was, that said he was suing the Grammys because of course Kendrick won, and of course they were playing it, and of course everybody was bopping to it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. Everybody was bopping to it. And
Right,
Aubrey Drake, I am not trying to laugh at you, my brother. I'm really not. I'm not trying to get on no whatever. But I mean, we're just talking. So, take it how we're just talking.
right.
But we're just being ourselves. So we mean no disrespect, but we're just talking. So everybody was bopping to it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
Beyonce was like, "I want to dance and break out, but I can't." And
hey, listen. Then they caught it. Then yeah, yeah. They did like a little back. They tried to do it quickly, but they did like a little they pulled back the camera and did a little panoramic, and then you saw Taylor Swift over there doing her thing.
Taylor is always jamming. When I say you, she is a hip
Taylor Swift,
fan. I
Taylor was
love
over there
Taylor.
getting it.
Taylor don't care what genre. That girl loves
Hey,
music.
listen, Taylor was over
She
that big old
loves
tall
me.
girl because
She's
Taylor
like that
tall.
at
People don't
every
realize how tall she is.
awards. She's like
Huh?
that at every award show. My God,
Hey,
I
listen.
love her.
Hey,
I love her.
Taylor was getting it, and we all know Taylor has a long history of loving Kendrick. So
Yes.
yeah, she was over there. Hey, she was she had a drink in her hand. She was getting it. Taylor was getting it done. And then they flashed away real quick. Like they was like, okay, let me flash away real quick.
Let me
But
see. Kendrick Drake father reacts to Kendrick Lamar's Grammy. Well, I'm trying to see whether he might be suing, but yeah, you can keep going. I'm just trying to see if I can find any research on that.
yeah, I honestly, Lisa, I just saw that he was suing. I didn't open up the
Oh my,
article.
oh my.
I just assumed that, well, he's suing UMG, so I guess it was only right for him to sue the Grammys. I guess I didn't know Rick Ross was suing the Grammys. We'll get to. I want to ask that question in a second, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he swept. You know what I mean? I mean, it's here is the thing about it. I'm gonna just give my quick little. Here's the thing about it is
I think it just happened again.
I thought I saw something.
Okay.
I don't know if I
I
did.
was
We'll see
looking
on the
and reading,
playback.
and when I came back, I saw a flash,
I
but
thought
I
I saw something
wrong.
because I was
You
doing like
did?
this.
Okay.
I was doing like this, but then when I came, it was gone. But I wasn't gonna say nothing. But since you said something, I
You
thought I
did
saw
too.
something.
Okay. Okay.
So
Long
we'll
as I'm
see.
not.
We'll see. I thought I saw something.
Yeah.
I thought I heard something. I thought I saw something. Um, and I'll try and tie this up as detailed but as concise as possible. And I don't even mean to go into like the whole, oh man, the beef. Oh, he murdered Drake. Whatever, whatever. I'm really more deep. I'm really more like a sports person in my analogy in this. I'm really like talking about like two teams and like a really long battle in like an over the couple of years, like where somebody gets an edge, or I'm really more from that standpoint of it.
Yeah.
So when it started, obviously, Drake was literally the biggest artist in the world. I mean, and I am not the biggest Drake fan. I'm not dissing at all. He makes great. He deserves all the things. And at the end of the day, the brother been on top, damn near 15 years. So that
Yeah.
just got to be something said. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless of what, we can all say what we want. At the end of
Right.
the day, brother was, saying he was on top 15 years. Kendrick has always occupied that space very geniusly, though. You know what I'm saying? He's always been very intentional, so it was really more of, when the clash came, because I guess when you look back at it, the Clash of the Titans, I guess, was eventually going to come.
Hmm.
Ever since, Kendrick and Drake were on the cool stuff, Drake was on Poetic Justice. They always had a pretty cool vibe. Kendrick dropped Control, shook the whole hip hop world, literally. Kendrick is a person, this is the thing. Kendrick has shaken the hip hop world multiple times, where he's shaken the world, where he has been the topic of conversation a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no one trick pony with what he's doing.
Right.
He's just leaning into it now in a way that's just relent. I got my foot on your neck and I ain't gonna let off you because you
Right.
piss me off type shit stuff. Sorry, I've been doing
Right.
good. You piss me off type stuff. And so when it started, he did the like that because J. Cole and them did first person shooter. Everybody knows what I'm about to say, so I'm not even about to front on the information like I'm the first one giving it to you. Everybody knows the dynamic. But I'm saying that to say at the time of the beginning of it, it really was a heavyweight bout. He did the like that, which was first person shooter was a banger. Let's start there. Drake and J. Cole. Like that's a banger. And then Drake came with the push-ups. That was the first thing I heard. The push-ups. And then from there, Kendrick came with Euphoria. From there, they're going back and forth. It's literally a slugfest. And then not like us. It was really like it's one of those things where it's a slugfest and then somebody just got caught and like he just got caught in this situation. Like I said, I'm looking at it more like sports. Like it was literally a slugfest. It was back and forth, X, Y, and Z. Not every time do you get a song that is just undeniable to where even the people that were on his side can't do nothing but concede. That
Right.
this doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
And it was one of those things where not every time do we hear the song and it's literally like that the first time you heard it. I heard the song the first time
Right.
when I was working out. I saw that it was in the Spotify. It was a new one. I hadn't heard it yet. I was probably, I'm not gonna say I was the first person on. I don't think I was the last person to ever hear it, but I'm sure a lot of people had heard it before me. I was working out. I actually put on like that. I put on the 50 push-ups by Drake. I went in a whole little thing in my workout, like a Kendrick and Drake back and forth. I put on Euphoria. I put on the hard part. I went back and forth, and it was literally a slugfest. Mind you, I hadn't heard Not Like Us yet, right? I've heard the other songs. I literally did that on purpose. Let me go back and forth X, Y, and Z. I'm just giving my experience to it.
Right. Right.
And literally the first time it came on, Mustard on the Beat, like literally, I said, oh my. And I know there's tons of people who've had that same reaction.
Right.
But I'm setting it up my way because that's how I got it. Everybody got it in a different way. You may have got it riding in the car, you might have been at your girl's house, wherever you heard it from the first time. And those that heard it the first time and were like, oh my God, this is how I got it the first time. I literally was on a back and forth. I had literally had, because at that time I think they each had like 3 songs out. So like the 616 in LA and then the other one Drake had. I literally did all that back and forth, and Not Like Us was last. And when that thing dropped, I remember I told my boy, I told Twizzle, like I said, it's over. I said, have you heard the latest one? He was like, oh yes. Like his reaction was like that. Like, we work,
Yeah.
we mess with Kendrick. Kendrick's our guy, X, Y, and Z. It wasn't even like a lot of people were like, yes, I heard it. Ha, ha. It was like one of those, like
Yeah.
even as like a Kendrick guy, like it's still one of those, yeah, I heard it. Like, dang. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah. It was
You know
over.
what I mean? And
I
it's
heard it on
not even
YouTube.
just
I was like, what?
it was it's a magician. That's some of the best work considering the circumstances, and that's why I kind of wanted to paint the picture like that because I think a lot of the tide people will look at the tide and how it changed and they'll take it for granted like it was no, it was a real thing. Like he really had to go get that. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
went and got that, right?
Got
Because
5 Grammys.
and Kim and Kendrick, like Drake is come on, man. Like I said,
Right.
hey, listen, I, I say what you want, but Drake, Drake's Drake. You know what I'm saying? So it was not an easy win. It was not. It was 2 titans. And for him to propel in that manner, considering the titan, the titan things that were on display and on the line, every single time it executes every single time. I've heard it. Everybody's heard it. Literally, the world has heard it a trillion times. It come on right now. It bops.
It was
Literally.
actually, let me correct. It was actually, he was nominated for 5, but he did win 4.
I thought it was 4. Okay,
Song,
nominated for
rap
4.
song, music video, and rap performance.
What were the 4?
Nominated for song, and then nominated for rap song, and then nominated for music video, and then nominated for rap performance. And I'm really happy about the music video because anybody that knows California, those
Oh,
are places
listen.
I've eaten at Tam so many times, too many times to name. And so it's good to see him win. And I tell you, Super Bowl, that's what I'm waiting on.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm
That
waiting.
everything you just mentioned all has a role to play in the execution of it. Like he literally came home with it. Like and highlighted the dope stuff about it. Like, even on his, I mean, it's like we can get in a whole nother segment regarding just this and then into the album and how geniusly the album was done. Like, even if it took you a couple times, it's like he really, it's amazing. Nothing. I mean, and everybody's like, oh, it's a diss song. Well, it is. It was very part of a battle. Yes, it was. It was a diss song, all the things. But I mean, it's completely original. It's a super bop. It's a the music, the concert, the pop out concert, the significance of it, what he did, all of that has something to play. He literally, there were so many people on stage at that pop up concert.
Right.
Like that's a huge deal. That might not, it can mean what it wants to mean to anybody else. I'm not from out here. I live in Long Beach. I was here, like being here, feeling the energy here when the pop up, like it was literally all over the block. It was in the bars. Like it was when that pop up concert was going on, it was, I mean, he did it 5 times. He used it as a source of unification. We call it what you want to. We know it was a diss song X, Y, and Z, but he used it as a source of unification and spoke about some of those unifying things in the song. Even in battle, he still executed that. The third verse, me and my boy Tanet, shout out, we said the third verse, as much as he kills him, the A minor, all this stuff, it's genius, everything. But
Yeah.
the third verse was the cap, because
Mhm.
that brings it all the way back to the essence of Kendrick.
Mhm.
Still on this
The
diss stuff.
historical. Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Before it all started, we were somewhere in chains.
Things.
Still keeping it on the bop. You mean
Right.
you are,
Right.
everybody know, because
Right.
we music people. So for us, it resonated for us totally different.
Okay.
He was
Hey.
still bopping, and
Right.
he was
Right.
all of the times he was busting in chains, jiggle jiggle tails, jiggle hits and slaves, and came with that, and then used
Right.
all that. You ain't no cogly, you a effing colonizer. Like the
Right.
family matter, the truth of the matter, it was God's plan to show y'all the liar. Like he still came with that
It
stuff. Like
kills. Yeah.
yeah, it was so. I mean, I'm sorry,
It was prolific. Very
it was
prolific.
just prolific. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not over here bashing. I'm just celebrating. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Great
it
job.
was it was very flawlessly executed, and then his album had the same exact spirit, the same exact foot on your neck, all that kind of stuff, and he never dissed them once,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So that was the ultimate flex kind of to me. Like, I don't even have to stay on this. You
Yeah.
already know what I'm hitting for, right? I'm gonna bring this spirit with the, so, and it won. So what was the one? I was trying to figure out the one that he didn't win. What was the one he didn't
I think
win?
that was the one. Maybe Beyonce won the record of the year. Is it?
No, he won record
Let
of
me
the
see.
year.
Hold on, hold on. Let me see which one it was. So he won nominated for song, nominated for rap song, nominated for music video, and nominated for rap performance. That's what it shows me. But we got it. He won.
Yeah. And
And
and and I'll pass it to
I'm
you.
happy.
But yeah, I am too, because it's and again, this ain't no bash, this ain't no diss Aubrey Drake. It's really not. But because I think you still have a chance to step in your space and do your thing. I just, it was good for the culture. It's really good for the culture. It was a
Yeah.
culture. It's a culture win for him to be celebrated. Again, this is not. I'm not dissing. I'm not
Yeah.
dissing you, Drake. I'm really not. I'm just talking about culture. Like it was a good representation of the culture. Like and you know, we all have to step into that cloth, myself included. I promise you I will. You stay tuned. Everything is happening right now. I promise you, when you hear the music, when we really get into it, you're gonna be like, okay, Ant was talking that, but he was really about that. So I appreciate the space. So it was good. It was dope.
It was absolutely dope. Congratulations to Beyonce. She finally won Album of the Year, and she made history, obviously, for her Cowboy Carter album that finally won. Now, a lot of people were saying they think Jay-Z was behind it because you remember last year he had a lot to say. But really, I feel like Beyonce has handled not winning with a lot of grace. And I had posted that too as well. And so I'm really, really happy that she made history for Carter getting Album of the Year. She also got an award with her duet with Miley Cyrus. I think that's probably one of my favorite songs. Next to This Ain't Texas on her album. So I'm just really, really, really happy for her. I know country fans, some of them are not happy. Everybody
Some of
can't
them.
win. We obviously understand that everybody can't win, but for her not to get not one country nomination, although this album, there was some country selections on it, but it did have some, some bops to it too as well. And so that could be some of the disconnect with people, but I'm just so happy, especially for Album of the Year. Like, like Jay-Z was right. The math doesn't make sense for someone to have that many Grammys. So just kudos to you, Queen. I'm so happy. And I hope you are at peace. And like your mom said, the timing couldn't have been better considering all the stuff that's been going on. So just congratulations to Beyonce.
Yes, I second all of that simply because she's Beyonce. And I say that respectfully. Because listen, Beyonce is another one, I mean, what is there to say? And she is that good too. You know what I'm saying? She is one of the people. Not everybody who's got the same space as Beyonce is that good. She is that good, whether she's your favorite or not. It doesn't really matter where she falls along. She's one of those people too. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what I was conveying about Drake. It doesn't matter where he falls along in your personal favorites or something. He's one of them ones. You feel what I'm saying? And Beyonce is too. Like she's that good. You know what I'm saying? Regardless,
Yeah,
like I said, it was the same kind of sentiment with Drake. Like regardless of what you say, he's that good. Beyonce is that good. Um,
exactly.
and so in that, and I've always loved how she's represented that space.
Yeah.
That's why I've really, have really tipped my cap to Beyonce, really more from that than anything else. Obviously, she has great music. She's astronomically gorgeous. You know me, I've said this before. I might have said this on this podcast.
Yeah.
I judge people, when you see them in person. I've had the honor of seeing them in person, but then you see, like, I look up celebrities, like, especially females, like, with no makeup on. And every time I look her up, I'm like, oh my God, you're more beautiful with no makeup.
Yeah.
So, anyway, she's all of that. I will. So now I'm just going to bring up other stuff regarding surround that, and then we'll just talk about that. But, like, obviously, you brought up a lot of country fans aren't happy. And there's a lot of different layers to this. So like John Rich called out the Grammys. He was like, Beyonce winning's pretty much a joke. I think his person was Lainey, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
And I will say this, I didn't realize that she won country album of the year as well. I thought she just won album of the year. So when I realized that she won country album of the year, I was like, oh, okay. Cause I was like, album of the year. Why y'all hating this album of the year? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's anything. There's literally everybody who was nominated in that. Billie Eilish was nominated in that. Taylor Swift, obviously, she's always going to be nominated in that. Right. So, I wasn't really okay. But then the country album, I was like, okay, okay. Um, being fair, right? Being fair, I can see why you could have a little gripe about that. Um, I can see how you can have a gripe with the system, maybe, and that's what John Rich, and I know he had a lot more venom than he normally probably would have if it were another person. So I don't want to ignore that either. I think that gets lost too. Like just because one thing is true, don't mean the other ain't true too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I may have done this, but this other brother did this, and you didn't react nearly the same way when they did this as I did this, right? Doesn't make what I did right, but I'm saying the whole venom behind the reactions is kind of my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But John Rich called out the Grammys. Obviously, he's a country star, has done his thing. And he called out the Grammys. I think he wanted Laney or whatever, but with Musgraves and Post Malone and all these people who probably did make more traditional country albums, if you will. Although country has evolved a lot over the
No, it
last
has. It
years.
has.
And so I think country, I think I'm not trying to make no excuses. I'm just saying you might be doing yourself a disservice by listen. Hip hop has had to do it, and listen, I can understand you because there's a lot of places hip hop has gone. I'm like, why did we do that? So I can understand that, but
Mhm.
at the end of the day, that evolution is something that country has not always been associated with. So you have a spotlight on you right now. That's the biggest that I remember in my lifetime. I'm not saying y'all ain't done your thing. Country artists have always done their thing.
Right.
But I'm saying the commercial part of it, the way it's fused into America culture now, for me, for somebody who doesn't really try and engage in that culture a lot, the fact that I'm more knowledgeable of country musicians
Mhm.
tells me that the commercial appeal about it, I'm seeing it more, right? And so I wouldn't, maybe judge that too hard as far as that. She did go on record and say it's not a country album, it's a Beyonce album. I can kind
Right.
of get that. John Rich, like I said, called out the Grammys, but he called out everybody as well. Pretty much what he said was, and I'll give him this. He did say this. He said, I'm totally paraphrasing John Rich. I apologize.
Mhm.
But pretty much what he said was a lot of the execs that are voters in these situations, they sit in the same room and they're pretty much like, you vote for mine, I'll vote for yours kind of thing. So he was like, so it's rare instances where, the person with actually the best talent wins in these situations anyway, because it happens in all. He said it happens with the Grammys, it happens with American Music Awards, Billboards, and CMAs. He even called the CMAs out, and he is a country music artist, right?
Right.
Um, so from that standpoint, he did point that out, and let's be real. I mean, that's true. I mean, it doesn't take away anything Beyonce's done. It doesn't take away anything anybody has done. But the same a lot of times the same people are going to be nominated in these situations. Doesn't mean nobody else gets nominated. Doesn't mean nobody else wins, right? So that's part of it too. Sometimes the talent does take Killer Mike, and we're gonna talk about this. Actually, we can kind of blend it into it now since it was on the list. But
Right.
like Killer Mike won last year. He did his sweep. He was nominated for 3. He did the sweep. For somebody like me, that was a huge win, right? Because he's not plugged into the establishment that way.
Right.
So for me, it does give like maybe they just do talent sometimes, right? I don't know what chimes their bell in a situation to make them decide they want to do talent in this situation and not this situation. I don't know how those decisions are made, but that was a talent decision
Mhm.
because that album really was that,
Yeah.
right? It was informative. It was all the Killer Mike stuff. You get all the layers of a human in there. As a black man living in the world, this country, Killer Mike always gonna give you that. He gonna speak
Yeah.
that. He gonna give you that.
Yeah.
He's super underrated in that sense. So that was a win that
Mhm.
he won, right? So it doesn't mean that it never wins. Beyonce has never gotten an album of the year with all of the. She got overall album of the year, and that was the bigger win. Actually, I understand the country folks. That's probably why they're mad because they were like, "Look, you can go get album of the year, but you're gonna take country album of the year from somebody
Right.
who's a country person." To say there ain't legs there would be a lie. Now it doesn't mean she doesn't deserve it, but she herself was surprised, literally, genuinely
Her face was so
surprised.
classic. Like,
Like she was literally like, "Are you serious? Like
right.
for real? Like now I'm not gonna give this back.
Right.
I probably should." You know what she was probably saying? Then this is shout outs to B in the Beehive. You know what Beyonce was probably saying? I probably should not have won this, but I'm not giving it back. She ain't giving it back.
Right.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like
Yeah.
nobody's giving it back. You know what I'm saying? People were up in arms. Macklemore won hip hop album of the year over Kendrick, over Good Kid, Mad City, and all those kinds of things. Macklemore said himself he shouldn't have won. He didn't give it back.
Right, of course not.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think a lot of you just go through like Lauren Oakes, a fashion person on social media, really went in, and her and other people they're trashing Beyonce more so. That's kind of my point. They're trashing her, saying she's greedy and going for more money. What do you mean going for more? Who in the game commands more dollars than Beyonce? I'm not saying it don't exist. I'm saying we can count, we can't get through one hand. We
Yeah,
can probably say Taylor.
right. For sure. For sure.
I'm still
Janet,
here.
Janet.
I can say Taylor for sure.
Yeah.
Taylor, I mean, she's probably she might command the most dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taylor, all day long. I'm
Yeah.
not even mad at that, actually. Taylor,
Yeah.
Taylor's all right in my book, just overall.
Yeah.
But who else?
Doja probably.
Doja,
Doja Cat.
you think she can command more dollars than Beyonce?
Oh, you're saying command more dollars than Beyonce.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm talking about who in the game, when they say I'm going to do something, is going to command. Taylor Swift. She's going to, but like who other than who
Janet
else? Like
Jackson? I guess it depends. I guess I'm not following. When you say demand more dollars, as far as arena, you mean, or just more dollars
Beyonce
like,
goes on a tour. She's performing in the biggest spots, and her
oh yeah,
tickets are the most
got you.
expensive in those biggest
Okay,
spots.
yeah,
Just like Kendrick now.
I
Kendrick's
got you.
tickets are expensive. He's performing at SoFi, and the
Got you.
smallest ticket is $250, $300.
Yeah.
Like you got to make
Taylor,
an investment just to get in the building.
yeah.
That kind of Beyonce is in that space. Taylor is probably higher in that space than her, but who else?
I would say J Lo too. I think J
You
Lo
think
could.
she's higher than Beyonce?
I don't know if she could be because of the amount of years. No.
No.
Okay. I don't know.
You know me. I love you. Don't get me started on a Puerto Rican now.
Only, you
You
know
know,
what
I
reason
love
I
me
say
some
that?
J
Because
Lo. Don't get
J-Lo
it
was
twisted.
on the
Hey, don't
scene
get it twisted. Don't
longer
get
than
it twisted.
Beyonce. She's been on the scene longer than Beyonce. Think about
But
Made in Manhattan and all of that. So she's
I
got some
understand
money.
that. But Beyonce is ginormously, Serene.
She is ginormous, but
She is
where
so big. She's
it's
so
Beyonce took
big.
it with the music, but I think J Lo has done better with from an acting perspective.
For
She's got
sure.
more bigger movies, and so that's what I'm
All
saying.
that.
I think she can demand top dollar too. I don't know if I could say more, but I think J Lo can demand top dollar for
J
her
Lo, absolutely. You're gonna make a decision to go see J Lo too. Don't get it twisted.
because of the
I'm saying you're making a
longevity.
bigger decision to go see Beyonce. And you're gonna make an even bigger decision to go see Taylor Swift. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a big decision to go see J Lo. But and I guess that's my point. Like the that statement, the point of me going down us going down that rabbit, which was
Yeah.
cool. The point of us going down that little rabbit hole was to say a lot of people are saying she's greedy and going for more money, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Who can command more dollars than her already before the country? In fact, the country album wasn't that ain't the work like before. Like that other stuff is that work. That's the big numbers
Lemonade
type
was
thing.
amazing.
You feel what I'm saying?
Lemonade was
See what I'm saying? We're talking
unbelievable.
about like Lemonade. You know how huge that was? Like it was.
Yeah.
It's Lemonade was amazing.
Yeah.
All
Amazing.
the way music, the whole visual, everything about it. So I'm saying that right there, those narratives that are common over the research I've done, and I'm like, more money. Now hey, she shouldn't have won the country album. I if I was a person in country, it's possible I could feel that. Album of the year, shut up. That's the album of the year. That's everything.
Right.
Country album of the year, I didn't know she won that. I can kind of feel that, but she won and she's not giving it back. Like I said, she probably said to herself, I probably shouldn't win this, but I ain't going to give it back. Right. So nobody would give it back. None of you guys would give it back. And also, another thing I will say,
Mm-hmm.
would the same reaction be the same. If Taylor Swift went and did a country album that sounded like Beyonce's version of a country album, would it be the same? Just interesting question.
Well,
Again, I
Taylor,
actually don't mind Taylor. I actually don't got
I
no beef
love
with Taylor
Taylor.
at all. Taylor, I'm all good with Taylor. I don't, not saying I
Right.
bump all her music. I'm not none of that. But just who Taylor is, she all right with me. I ain't got no beef with her. So I'm not even doing none of that. I'm just, again, I'll go back to perception. What I said earlier, how I started about this when we was talking about Irv, the way you picture and perceive certain things is very powerful if you send a certain message tied behind that. And there was a lot of venom behind her hate. And I'm like, okay, I feel you. But like she wants more money, you guys need to stop that. That's like saying she can't sing. Like you guys are stupid. I'm not trying to diss, I'm just saying. So that's kind of my thing is that and I'm going to mention this too, some even going as far to say that the DEI influences why Beyonce won, like trying to create this narrative like black people have all these advantages in all these situations and categories. That's the dangerous thought about that. The DEI had something to do with it when, and no, she's Beyonce. She's one of the biggest stars we've ever seen. Jay-Z has influence. He probably was in there like John Hill was saying and was like, yo, my girl got get it this time. I vote for yours, you vote for mine. It was probably more along those lines, right? It's a problem in the system, right?
Yeah.
But the coming directly after Beyonce and she wants more money and she's greedy, that's that's not accurate.
Well,
Because
the thing
how
when I
much
think
more
of,
money can one person have?
yeah, I'm not going to even comment on that. But honestly, when I think about the quote that we talked about for Kobe Bryant, what Taylor Swift has done and Beyonce has done too as well is they've pushed themselves to evolve. Taylor
Uh,
started out very country playing, and then her music started to
Taylor, for
go
sure.
towards pop, right?
Facts.
And
Mm-hmm.
so people do evolve, people do step out of the box, people do take risk. And that's what she did with Cowboy Carter. She did something different and it should be admired. Doechii, I was so proud of Doechii to win
Good
album of the
win.
year.
Good win.
This girl is such a dope performer.
Good
When
win.
I found out
Good
about
win.
Doechii, I had to just start watching videos on her. So she's so talented and I'm so happy for her that she won too as well. And
That
then
was a
we
good
had
talent win, like I was talking about,
absolutely.
like with Killer Mike. That was a good talent win right there. Good for her.
Exactly.
Good win.
And then
Good win.
Kanye might have lost a deal. I don't know about this, but basically him and his wife showed up. Obviously, Bianca had on literally nothing, which is the norm. And they're talking about it might be impacting one of his financial deals. So I'm not sure if that's true. Obviously, he's very strategic in what he did. He showed up for a reason. I think it was more than the photo op. I don't really know. But yeah.
Uh, yeah. Uh, um,
Can
what
y'all
was
talk
it? An,
about that
an Apple
read?
deal he had? Was that an Apple deal?
I think it was an Apple deal, but did y'all hear Don Lemon's read on Kanye? Oh, he
No.
the filth. Kanye.
What'd he say?
Don said, I got time today. So basically, Kanye called Don the C word, the COON word. And Don said, I got time today. I don't work, for CNN anymore. And if y'all didn't see that clip, when I tell you, Don, I can't use some of the language that Don used, but Don said that MAGA head must be too squashed around your head for you to be calling anybody that C word. Don said, I got time today for him. But anyway, that was off track. But yeah, I think he lost some deal. Really don't care, and that's that. I
Yeah,
really
Gay is yeah, man. I don't know. Kanye's another one I could talk about Kanye for a long time because Kanye musically, just as a fan, just listening to music, he's man. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Kanye's a special cat, bro. Kanye has had some phenomenal moments. Like just in again, we just talking about contributions. No matter how we feel about him, like today, I don't bump Kanye the way I used to. I don't. But man, you talk about an artist that I have listened to a lot over the years, bro, who has made like every album has been its own classic, and it's just very interesting to see. Just has her show up, take her clothes off, they kick him out or whatever they say, um, and he leaves, and that's that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that now we're talking about him. You know what I'm saying? So um, we'll see what that leads to. Uh, I
I
just
thought
got a
that
lot to
was
say about
strategic.
Ye. So we can I got a lot to say about Ye, and I got a lot to say. So anyway, Ye has. I will say this, Ye. If you ever listen to this, I don't know if you ever do. If you ever listen to this, I will say this. Everybody has faults. You definitely have faults that have turned a lot of people off, myself included, in a lot of ways. Pause. But thank you for the music you have given, because man.
Yeah. And moving on.
So we'll
So
move on from that.
yeah, move on for that because we just yeah. So
That's what
Killer,
I'm saying. That's my point, though. You feel what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like everything you're feeling. I'm with you. That's my point. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, dog. So
just want to
anyway, go ahead.
report what happened and that, but he is an amazing artist, and I won't take that away from him. Killer Mike is suing the Grammys for how they treated him last year. That's not new news. I'm not sure why they're bringing it up now because he talked about suing them last year. So, you know, they were trying to kick him out or something last year. I can't remember. It's been a while, but it was talked about recently and reported
Oh, it's about the
suing them
incident that happened when
last.
he was. Oh, he's suing. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's been on that though. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So there, I don't
yeah,
know when it's
yeah,
coming
yeah.
back up. We don't have it on our list, guys, but before we go into Super Bowl, I do want to congratulate Chris Brown. Um, I am so happy that he finally won and been recognized. And hopefully now people can let the past be the past. I'm so happy for Chris Brown. He has been putting out hits after hits after hits after hits. And it was like someone just turned the cheek and never paid attention. But fans like myself and other fans, we have been listening throughout the years, but just really, really happy that he's finally getting his due. And hopefully we can continue to trickle from here on out with that. So congratulations and
Yeah, Chris
you
Breezy's
for sports.
man. You
Yeah.
talk about somebody who's giving us some good music.
Yeah.
Ain't he a
Without
DMVer?
water at the same time. How funny.
Yeah. Well, I did some water. Ain't he a DMVer? Where he from?
Chris, I don't know if Chris is from D. Is
Thought he
he?
was from Virginia.
Might be. He might be. He might be, but he's not one of the ones that come up on my radar from being from DC. But I need to find that out. All right, let's go into sports. Let's keep it moving.
So Chris Brown. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Sports. I was doing the Chris Brown because he is from Virginia, but that's not even what I meant to say. So we got Super Bowl Sunday coming up. We got Super Bowl Sunday coming up.
Yes, he
We
is.
got the Chiefs. We got the Eagles. Last time I looked, the Chiefs were favored because I'm thinking about placing a bet on this.
Oh, okay.
Um, The Chiefs are favored by a point and a half. This is what I kind of figured. And the over under is 48.5. If that stays the same, 48.5 for y'all that don't know, over under is 48.5. So if they score under 48.5, which would be a total of 48 points, then if you bet over and they score under, then you lose. If you bet under and they score over, then you lose. If you bet over and they score over, obviously you win. You bet under, they score under, obviously you win. So 48.5 is 49 points, which means 24-24 is 48 points. 27-24 is 51 points. I think the game is going to be more along there at, probably 30-27. Um, so if it stays at 48.5, I'm probably going to bet the over on that. And if I had to make a prediction, again, that's why I bring it up. My heart, it wouldn't be bad if the Eagles won. I don't really care either way. Like I said, we lost to the Eagles.
Right, our teammate.
Dang it. So I don't really care. And a lot of people are like, well, you should be rooting for the Eagles. But I mean, the Chiefs always win.
Yeah.
Not they always win, but they do. I mean, they're really good. I mean, one of my best friends in the entire world, Craig, is a Chiefs fan. Shout out to my man, Craig Bernard Lassane. So I feel like talking some stuff to him because if they win again, I got to hear his big head again. So Big game though. Another rematch. Patrick versus Jalen Hurts. It's going to be a very, very interesting game. And obviously, Kendrick's performing at the halftime, so we all looking forward to that. But other news in sports, which is shaking the sports world, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, and that is Luka being traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. This is a trade of seismic portions. Again, I am going to do my own little thing on this. I need to just go ahead and do it because I want to do it just to talk about this. Because never in the history of any sport, let alone hoop, have we had two titans be traded for each other. Luke is only 25 years old. He's literally the franchise. He's the third leading scorer in NBA history, points per game for somebody who's played the minimum amount of games. And Dallas felt like they wanted to separate from him and didn't get a lot in return. They got Anthony Davis, but they didn't get like a lot of draft picks, a lot of other players. They could have cleaned somebody's clock, and they didn't. So it just makes you wonder how fed up with Luka they were. Because to make that
Right.
big of a seismic change that literally changed the whole, that's on every ESPN. It's talked about as much as the Super Bowl's talking about. He plays on Saturday. I'm sure it's on primetime television. It's 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be tuning in because I want to see how it looks with him and LeBron next to each other. It's very, very interesting. I was actually looking at going to the game, but it's a little past my pocket range, so I think I'm going to sit this one out. I mean, I could go if I wanted to, but I just don't know if I feel like stretching myself like that.
Right,
But
right.
I was looking at going to the game, honestly, because that would be a game I wanted to see. So those are the two big stories. A lot of NBA trades. De'Aaron Fox is no longer with us, Sacramento Kings. He's at San Antonio Spurs. Shout out to D Fox. I love D Fox. I wish we could have kept you. I wish it could have worked out that we kept you. We didn't. I'm very upset. I understand the business of basketball, but as a fan, I'm upset. So that has weakened the Sacramento Kings. So I'm not going to be talking as much crap as I normally would because our ceiling just lowered tremendously. Hopefully, we can get it together. We'll see. So those are the three big items on sports.
Awesome.
Hot.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. So this takes us to the end of our show. We're about to go into our improv challenge. And guess what our word is? Gotti,
Got it.
baby. Gotti. All right, Anthony, I think last week I started out. So what you got for me?
Well, like Irv Gotti said when he was delivering them hits, got him.
Did you know that Irv Gotti was married?
I knew he had I knew Vergotti had, I think, 3 kids. I didn't know he was married, but I know he had 3 kids, and I think they're by the same chick, if I'm not mistaken.
You know, Irv Gotti started a lot of good things in the scene, but he also started a lot of on people too as well.
Irv Gotti was definitely in his what they call beefs. He definitely had a lot of carne asada at his table. He definitely had a lot of steaks at his table. He definitely had a lot of different cuts of beef ribs at his table.
But there's only
Hots.
one Irv Gotti. Can you recognize that?
Can you recognize that when he came around, they said it's murder?
I'm guys. That is our improv challenge. You guys let us know who won. Thank you guys. We ranked up over, I think, our highest likes on our last show.
Keep liking, keep
So
liking.
keep watching, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. We appreciate you guys so, so much. Have fun, turn up. All the Super Bowl parties, tailgates, hot dogs, cauliflower buffalo wings here, but barbecue wings for y'all and buffalo wings for everybody. Anthony, you got a big party. We're having to get together over here. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to one of my partner's houses in
Hey.
Hermosa Beach,
Ooh.
overlooking the water, and we're
Ooh.
going to be doing it like that.
That's gonna be nice.
Yes, it is.
That's gonna be nice,
That's going to be
guys.
sick
Well,
with it.
listen, I bring the zen.
I bring the
I
dopamine.
bring the zen.
I bring the
I
dopamine.
bring the zen.
I bring the dopamine.
We another mother patio. Hey!
Hey!
See you guys next Friday morning.